Today we're going to be looking at what number has certain amount of different place values. So, what number has 5 thousands, 4 hundreds, 9 tens, and 2 units? And I ask you, when it comes to place value, what is the most important thing to do? What is success criteria as you would learn in school, number 1? And that is to make sure that your hats and caps are used throughout any place value question. If we're looking at lower key stage 2, we're looking at identifying with your units, your tens, your hundreds, maybe even your thousands and your 10,000s. But then as you start getting older, you start looking at your thousands, you start looking at your 10,000s, and then your 100,000s. I'm going to put them all in. It might not even be used, but I'm going to put them all in anyway. 100.
It's just good practice to keep.
It's good practice to put them all in.
If you want, pause the video, write that 10 times.
100%.
Learn your caps, learn your
100%.
hats.
Yep. So I separate the groups of 3, which is my 2 houses. I've got my units house, which is my units, tens, and hundreds, and my thousands house, which is my thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s, as we spoke about in the early video.
And if we did do any more, it would be millions, tens,
and my
of
million,
millions.
yeah, my millions house. Maybe we could be crazy and go even further from that. Now that I have my place values up and ready to go, I'm ready to look and insert the numbers according to what place value they need to be in. So this number here has 5,000. So if I'm looking at Mr. Sewell, I have to find the thousands. And it's very easy because the first 2 letters of thousands are TH. So we stick the 5 in over there. It has 4 hundreds. So we look at 4. We look at 4 hundreds. We stick it in there. I always put a comma to separate the houses. You see how the comma is there to use to separate the units, tens, and hundreds from the thousands. 9 tens and 2 units. So there you go. You got 5,492. We've got that comma there just to separate the thousands and the hundreds.
Do you know one thing about commas is, if you're completely confident, use them. If you're not, leave them out. Because if the comma's in the wrong place, you'll get the answer wrong.
Interesting.
So the comma must be in the right place. And if you leave them out, you can still get it right. So if you're not sure, leave them out.
Mr. Sewell, it's interesting you said that, because when I teach the children, when I'm looking at the houses, separating the units, tens, and the hundreds from the thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s, if they understand that really well, you'd be able to use the comma pretty well as well, because it really kind of helps you identify between those 2 different things.
Good ways to check is just make sure your comma is 3 from the end.
The next question, it's a bit of a tricky one, because we have in one of the place values no value whatsoever, which is quite interesting. And when we go into the video writing words as numbers, it's going to be very important that you understand this. So again, we look at 300s. We look at 0 tens. It says 0 tens. There are no tens whatsoever. It does not mean, though, Mr. Sewell, that we have to write absolutely nothing, do we? We have to put in a value, not a value, but a placeholder of some form to make sure that that 3 still stays as 100. Because if I don't have that 0 there, it'll make 30. So we put a 0 there to make sure that our placeholder ensures that this number over here is 300. And then we have 4 units, which makes the number 304. Now, why don't you press pause now and try the third question, which is 400,000s, 0,000s, 0 hundreds, 4 tens, and 7 units. And we move on to this next question. 400,000 is quite a high place value, quite a high number. We're moving into the big leagues now, Mr. Sewell. Is it going to be difficult for us? Well, if we've got our hats and caps up, we stroll along using our cursor, units, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, the 10,000s, 100. There's already an HTH, which is representative of 100,000 right there, ready for us. Boom, we put it in there. Now I put a trick in here, Mr. Sewell. I didn't put in 10,000s. Does that mean that I have to put this 4 into the 10,000s column? Or do you think that would just be another 0?
Well, it says 400,000, so we better leave it in the 100,000s.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you're asked for 400,000s, make sure it's in the 100,000s column. And whenever you have something missing, now I was very, very cheeky here, because even though I wrote 0,000s, there's also 0 10,000s. I didn't even put anything there. You got 0,000s, you got 0 hundreds, you got 4 tens, and then finally you have 7 units. Now what I'm going to do here is, as you can see where my separation is, I'm going to put a comma to separate the hundreds from the thousands, because I've got my thousands house over here, 400,000, and I've got my units column here. So this is how I'm going to say it. I'm going to say 400,047. We don't really say 47 units, do we? So we just say 47. And voila, there we have it.
Where did you put your comma, Mr. Blum? 3 from the end?
3 from the end.
Are you sure?
In between the hundreds and the thousands.
You sure it's 3 from the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good checking, Mr. Blum. Good.